Hello, everyone. Good day. This is not live, as you can tell.
Sorry.
It's fine. Please don't speak until you're introduced. I am in Brooklyn.
Mm-hmm.
What's the area? What would you say
We're in
this area?
Bed-Stuy.
We are in Bed-Stuy, and that's why it's so gruff, and there's so much concrete, and I feel so hip. And with me today is the first lady to even ask to be on the show. Usually I'm just bothering people. She said, can I do it? And also probably the first person I have just met, and now we're doing it. Usually I like to develop a rapport. There's really no rapport here. Everyone say hello to Rachel.
Hi.
Now you can speak.
Hello.
You're getting it.
I'm getting it now. I'm so sorry.
And Rachel is a writer, a maven, a social media maven.
That's true. I am a professional.
Sure. And she hosts a podcast, Wrestlesplania, which I'm gonna do
This is why.
after this.
Yeah.
So this is like a 2-in-1 kind of thing.
We're knocking it all out.
Yeah. So here's a question.
Yes.
Why did you want to be on the show, and what do you think you have to offer to be so bold as to ask to be on said show?
Well, certainly not a body.
That's not true. People have fun bodies, and they work for different... Please. You know how many sick, horrible fetishes there are in the world? And then, you know what I mean? Everyone is into everything, and then you have a wonderful body.
Oh, thank you.
So, like, don't worry about it.
Well, first of all, I like coffee, so...
Like, what I was saying is, even if you have, like, a club foot, there's a whole group online about people who love club feet. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So, not that you have a club foot.
And, you know.
But let's talk about this, because now all of a sudden you're making this.
Yeah.
So you got
I'm
this,
really
and
tired.
it's a Maxwell House. And what are you making it in? This is a French press?
Mm-hmm.
I've never seen a French press. This is a stainless?
Yeah.
Are we getting that?
Yeah.
Isn't that delightful?
It's lovely. It's my roommate's.
So you really can't
And he is so kind as to let us...
claim that much of your own. Your roommate who didn't let me in the building.
Oh my god.
And that's fine, because he was like, who's this? And I said, RJ. And he said, I don't know an RJ. And in many ways, I thought, neither do I. And I said, okay. I didn't even bother explaining. I just sent a message to Rachel because whatever.
Yeah, and then he came down and said, do you know an RJ? And I said, yes, that's the person who I told you was going to be.
But also, in many ways, you don't know me. Because here we are. This is within, 10 minutes of meeting each other.
Yeah, that's true.
And we're having coffee. Speaking of, I have underwear while we're talking about it. These are fun Calvin-y things. And let's talk about your jeans.
They're from Gap Factory.
Oh, wow.
It's a really exclusive store.
Yeah.
And they're great because they fit around my giant, that I love. I love my own giant
See
ass,
what I'm talking about?
I have a giant ass.
Now, let's talk about big asses in general.
Okay.
We don't have to point out yours specifically. But to me, gun to my head, breasts or ass, you need to have an ass. Because if you take sex out of it, say sex does not exist, you still need to sit down.
That's true.
You need something to sit on.
I have a lot to sit on.
Gotta go to the toilet. Good. Enjoy yourself. Dear Lord.
I didn't get to answer why I wanted to do the show. I was just like,
Oh, yeah, okay.
you're gonna
Sorry.
do-
Well, I started talking about people who have club foot fetishes.
Yeah.
So, go ahead.
I was like, you're going to do the podcast. I was like, oh, it would be really funny if I could do a coffee. That would be great. And I was like, you were like, oh, yeah, sure. And I was like, okay, cool.
That's a great story.
Thank
And
you.
when you come up with a
I
middle
like
and
the
an
answer.
ending, maybe you could email it to me,
Ouch.
and we could talk
Ouch.
about it. So what do you think you bring to the show? Besides, you're texting during the show?
No. I'm just checking the French press ratio calculator because I'm bad at remembering.
And
how
what
much
is your ratio? Let's talk about this.
The
because
ratio is 6 to 16. So I'm going to put it's more than 16 in there. We have Maxwell House.
And
I
this
also
is
have Trader Joe's coffee.
And how do you feel about Trader Joe's? I've never been to Trader Joe's.
It's fine. It's completely fine. It is a fully adequate grocery store with not the greatest produce. I think they should let their employees unionize, but...
Yeah, but the drawing of the guy is so fun. And I think that's what brings people home. They want to see
really
Joe.
fun. I think it's the perfect, I'm single and I have to relearn how to cook grocery store.
Right.
Which,
So.
who among us has not gone through that cycle?
Yeah.
Numerous times.
Yeah. No, I'm single and my mother plays a large role in my life.
Aww.
Yeah. Yeah. Which happens regardless. She's on. Yeah. Well, she's not watching this.
She might be.
I don't know.
If you're there, hello.
She's not comfortable with me being in Bed-Stuy, to be honest with you. This is a breakfast blend, and Maxwell House is all right.
It exists.
We'll get through it. It exists. It's already been ground. I couldn't even do that.
Do you want me to get
No.
Joe's
Well, let me smell the Joes.
I don't think they're open yet.
They're not even open. I'm not going to open a bag. It's probably your roommate's, and he's already mad at me.
No, they're mine.
No. They're really? No. Let's stick with what we have. Let's stay the course. And how many scoops are you putting?
A shitload.
Okay. Very scientific process. And that's how you approach life in many ways, Rachel. Non-scientifically.
Yeah.
You would say?
By the seat of my fucking pants.
Yeah, well, because you have such a prominent posterior.
Ooh.
You should lead with it,
Just go backwards.
It's good to have the big ass. It's so strange to see people with no ass that it makes me wonder how historically people were even into smaller asses. They used to mock the big ass people.
I know. I remember in I'm gonna age myself a little here. In 2005, it was cool to have a concave lacking ass.
Yeah.
Because people fetishize eating disorders.
Right.
Yes.
Yeah, that would be it.
And I also remember in high school I was called Bumblebee ass.
Bumblebee ass. Now, did you ever wonder why? I mean, I understand why. Because of Bumblebee what?
Because bumblebees have huge butts.
Do they really?
Yeah, bumblebees have big butts. I'm not talking Jerry Seinfeld bumblebees. I'm talking
yes.
actual bumblebees.
That was a weird movie. That was an odd choice.
It was.
Let me break down the conventions of a sitcom, and then I'll write a movie about bees.
Did you ever see it?
Yeah, it wasn't Ray Liotta in it as Ray Liotta.
Yeah.
Am I crazy?
I remember seeing it in theaters. I don't know why.
I also saw it in theaters
I
with
think
my
everyone
girlfriend at the time.
I saw it with my boyfriend at the time.
Because you would think it's Seinfeld. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
His name is on the thing, and then it's just him going, "Oh, who likes this honey?" And you're like, "What is this? I didn't sign up for this at all."
He has an interspecies relationship with Renee Zellweger.
Yeah, who's a bee fucker. Renee Zellweger is a bee fucker.
Good for her.
Because she saw the ass on him and said,
"Yeah,
I want this.
I want to peg that.
Pollinate me."
No, she wanted to peg Jerry Seinfeld.
Sorry. So I just want to clarify. Renee Zellweger would be strapping one on and giving it to B. Seinfeld.
Yes.
In his, for lack of a better term, large B ass.
His striped.
Now you've pulled out a knife, and I wasn't prepared for it. And why?
Because
you don't have a spoon. Why are you mixing it?
Because you're supposed to mix it. And
where are you getting this? The woman who lives her life non-scientifically?
I don't know how.
I'd be interested to know the publication you're getting this from.
I remember when I first started using French presses, they were like, "Oh yeah, mix in the grounds." And then
you say they, and I would like you to tell me.
Website I looked at.
Oh no. Okay. Are we gonna press it together? You can tell me. You haven't seen the show, right?
I let it sit for a couple minutes.
That's a good idea. Yes. For 4 minutes usually.
Yeah.
I don't know if you have a timer on your phone.
We have a timer up there.
Yeah, but now I gotta go. It's 8:27, and then I gotta calculate what's 4 minutes from that.
12.
Thank you. Well, I'll see you at 12:27.
So we have to fill this for 4. Are you in hell?
In many ways, but I've been there and I live there. I exist there.
Where do you summer there as well? Where do you summer?
It's just the heat doesn't bother me. It's just also humid.
Yeah,
so I like
it when my hair looks bad.
A drier heat.
A dry heat.
Yeah.
So you go to the desert.
Like in Arizona kind of thing.
Ooh,
yeah.
Arizona, much more.
And you're from here?
Yeah, I'm from upstate New York, the Hudson Valley.
Which is like what?
3 hours north of here.
Okay.
Up is north.
You know what I realized when I wrestled in Lockport and Tonawanda
so I know Tonawanda.
How many people think New York, because of New York City, all of New York is somehow redneck free.
No.
Yeah. That you don't think about it.
Not even the city.
Not even the city. Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of the hicks.
So I grew up in the boonies.
Yeah.
In a sub 10,000, sub 9,000 I think at this point, population town. And if they separated New York State and New York City electorally, I feel like things would be a little much different and much dire. But I mean, there's...
Oh yeah, because things are now. Go ahead.
Oh, things are great now.
We're doing
but
fine.
They would be somehow worse, I feel. know, but like there's good people everywhere. Like there's Bernie Bros in redneck country. I love.
There's good people everywhere.
And
What
there's
a
also
blanket.
terrible people everywhere.
Thank you. Much better.
Right here.
Yes.
No, but you know, there's good people everywhere, and there's shitty people everywhere. Like, you know, but yeah, no, it can get pretty sketchy in like the woodsy parts of New York.
Yeah.
Like, I definitely saw Confederate flags. That's
Right.
not good.
Right.
That's actually terrible.
It's very bad.
Because they're a hate symbol.
Yeah.
But yeah, Tonawanda I actually really like.
Yeah.
My sister lived there for a number of years.
And she doesn't have a Confederate flag.
No,
you
she
want to
does
clarify that
No.
she's not a...
None of my
Yeah.
sisters have those. And none of my parents do either.
That's
Or
amazing.
step-parents.
Mm.
I only have one, but like, you know, shout out to her. But yeah, no, two of my sisters went to undergrad in Buffalo, so I know Tonawanda very well.
And what was your major?
My major?
Yeah.
Dropping out.
Oh, good. How long did you go?
I went a year and a half the first round for theater.
Yeah, well, yeah, that was the right choice.
Yeah, it really was.
Yeah.
To get a degree in it, to go into debt for it.
What was the last
Absolutely.
unit? What were you doing? You were doing clown, and you said maybe it's time to leave.
No, I said I have ADHD and my grades are bad and my brains are bad.
Fair enough. That sounds like a good monologue, though. It's a shame you didn't stick with it.
I mean, I did go to community college and I did a vagina monologue or two.
Aw. Do you remember the opening line? Do you remember any line from your own vagina monologues?
Mine was because you like to look at it, and yes, I do. Because that's the only one that isn't like through a 2019 lens. Like, oh, this isn't like as bad.
Yeah, mine was about Renee Zellweger wanting to fuck bees. It's very odd.
It's the cunt speech, but she's spelling the word bee instead.
I can't even. Out of all the horrible words I really enjoy saying, I understand that, but I'm speaking solely phonetically. It makes me feel gross to say.
Oh, too many hard consonants?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yep, and there's the there's also that in there.
You're doing the monologue now.
That's it?
Because the monologue is all about breaking down like how the word is fun to say, and then it ends with the person giving it, making the audience chant it. And then it's placed in the show at a certain point, so like all of the men who have been dragged there to either see their daughters or dragged there by their wives to see it can like feel better and say cunt.
Right, it's a reprieve.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I remember a fun comedy bit I saw at a show once. Tim Allen read from the vagina monologues, and that was the bit because, you know, why bother making jokes?
Lord knows I don't, but at the same time.
Yeah.
All right, it's time.
It's time? Oh, yeah, look at you praying. Let's press it together.
Okay, do you want your hand first?
Yeah, because
Okay.
I'm the host.
Okay, that's true.
Okay, well, actually, it's an odd angle. Okay.
Just pop your little
And
head.
we're pressing.
We're pressing.
That's a welcoming sound. It's almost like a whale. It's like a breaching whale. There we go. There we go. And I like to do a little hand hug here and say, hey.
Hey.
Here we are.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Good to see you.
Great to see you.
This is so wonderful. I've never seen a French press like this. I'm such a glass guy. You know?
I have a little baby glass one.
It's adorable, but this doesn't even, I feel like it doesn't even make one full cup.
It's a half cup.
Yeah. And who really just wants that much coffee? You either don't want any coffee at all, right? Or you want this size. What's the morning like for you? How many coffees do you have?
2 usually.
Yeah.
Or one big boy.
Now, do you make a performance out of it?
What do you mean?
Like if I have my coffee at like 8, I'll make it last until like 11:30.
Oh.
I'm a big sipper and ponderer with the coffee in my hand.
It depends on what my day is like because I do social media, I can kind of, and because of the nature of my job, I can kind of work from anywhere. So I go on the road a lot to get the interview for the podcast. So like, it's really dependent. Like I was mentioning to you a couple weeks ago when I interviewed somebody in their car. So I had to like pound the coffee that morning. Usually it's a bit of a sip routine for about an hour. And then I go, oh, I have to take a shower, and I just blast the rest of it.
You have any podcast heat? People who wouldn't come on the show and you're like, the hell with this person.
Orange Cassidy.
Oh, yeah.
You hurt my feelings.
Yeah, but your face, you love him.
I do.
Is there someone you really don't? Is there someone you're like, meh?
No, anybody I've asked to do the show. If they were like, no, I can't because of this, I'd be like, oh yeah, I get that. That's fine.
What if they just said, no, I can't?
Then I would go, okay.
Really?
If they said, I hate you and you smell bad, I would go, why did I ask you to do the show in the first place? This is very hurtful to me. I'm a nice person.
So I'm going to assume at some point you've been in therapy and they've explained to you it's not worth it to live with hate in your heart.
No. I have to dump my current therapist.
Oh. Yeah, why?
Because, no, there's no way he watches YouTube. And if he does, this will be a great way for him to find out.
I'll find this and send it.
He keeps telling me that I'm pretty, which, like, is not...
Because I think we've established you've, as you said, not a body.
That's not your therapist's job.
Yes.
Especially if your therapist is old enough to be your father.
Right.
And usually at a certain point, I could get past it whenever he was like, oh, you're a very attractive woman. You're a handsome woman. And then the last session, he said I was a quirky girl next door type, and I was like, no, I can't.
You can't be quirky and handsome. Pick a lane, my friend.
Don't call me a manic pixie dream psycho. I'm in goddamn therapy.
Now, wait a minute. Was the topic ever on your looks? Were you like, I feel so ugly? And he's like, I must tell her she's pretty. He just worked it in? He's like, by the way, before we get on to your mother dynamics, very attractive woman.
I got a half chub. That's,
Wow. Well, that's why he's sitting with his legs crossed. So I did the online therapy.
Oh.
The BetterHelp thing. You familiar with that?
I know. Talkspace.
Okay, same thing. I looked at it. You fill out a whole thing, and they give you a list of potential therapist mates. Mm-hmm. This is fun because you're in social media.
Never line up.
Aw, that's nice. It'd be a good mug. My therapist thinks I'm hot.
That actually, I would take from that. That would be a good mug. That's like way better than like I am a dog aunt and my corgi loves me or whatever. You know the types.
I know the type. So the first person they suggested to me, this guy therapist who's in Texas, I'm like, you know what? Let me creep this guy a bit. Let me see if I can find anything online. Found his Twitter. Oh no! Turned out he's a fucking Trump supporter.
No.
How can you like Trump and believe in therapy at all? Then I was just, you know what I mean? I was just fascinated. Like, how can you think this guy's okay?
Therapist,
yeah.
And I want him to violate HIPAA.
So I had to say no.
Yeah, I mean, no.
Yeah, but I got a nice lady, and I also, the frustrating part is, like, you talk about deep emotional shit, and then I also want her to watch my YouTube videos and tell me that they're funny.
If she's watching this, you're doing a great job.
I don't think she... You know how long, like, the first 3 weeks were just me explaining wrestling and this, and, like, why I'm even doing it? Here's the deal.
Yeah, that's the thing, is that I think I held off on him telling me I'm hot every week and being like, I'm not comfortable. I'm not going to open up to you. I'm not comfortable with this. Is because I was like, I don't want to have to re-explain how my life fell apart to another person.
Yeah.
Who might be like, hey, by the way, Bumblebee ass.
Bumblebee ass.
Also, you're depressed.
Before we begin the session, are you familiar with Renee Zellweger?
And B-movie.
Yeah.
That actually would be a good precursor for a therapist. Not so much in terms of, like, the actual movie, but to be like, what irony level do they reside on with me?
Right. Right.
I feel like if you find a therapist on the right irony level, everything else is workable.
Yeah. Even if they find you attractive.
No.
Mm-mm. Why would he say that? Even if he legitimately does.
He clearly legitimately does.
I'm saying, like, but even if you're like, wow, like, what good would come from that for him or you? Even to him, even if he wanted to make a move, you don't make it in therapy.
Well, maybe because I'm crazy and vulnerable. Right.
But I get what the point I'm getting at is, even if he really was lusting after you, he's also an idiot to bring it up in the middle of a session.
I'm in there because men are idiots.
Right.
More or less.
Right.
Which we don't need to get into.
Which is ironic. Right?
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I think he thinks that, like... he's, like, giving me a confidence boost.
But is he attractive? I mean, not are you attracted to him, but is he attractive? Is he a handsome fella? Was he thinking, you know, I'm a good-looking guy. Let me make this little lady's day.
60s, he's like not bad looking.
Maybe he's pompous and he thinks he has, you know what I mean? Some hotness credibility to give out.
Oh.
She thinks I'm hot. I'm going to tell her she's hot and make her day.
We're the same.
See, there's no scenario there, psychologically, where that makes sense as a therapist.
No.
So he's a bad therapist and a bad human being. However, so wait, you're going to break up with him in person?
I don't know. I'm considering ghosting him.
Wow.
I don't know.
That's harsh.
Why should I pay to break up with him?
I think, well, fair enough. I feel like if it's a breakup session, you should get it for free. You can say, by the way, I'm not paying for this.
Hey, by the way.
Yeah.
You made me uncomfortable to a point where I no longer feel I can open up to you in a way that will be good for my psychology. So
you're just going to not speak to him again? Don't you want him to know, though, that it's wrong? Because what if he's doing this with other gals?
Yeah, that's my worry.
Yeah.
Is that like, okay, are you an idiot or is this predatory?
Yeah.
If it's predatory, then it's both.
Yeah.
But I don't know. This is getting heavy.
Sorry, this is good. I'm sorry. Well, I'm sorry if you don't want to talk about it.
No, it's fine.
Don't you hate when you discover a problem about one person and then you're like, now I have to speak up and save everyone else?
Yep.
You feel that burden?
Yep, I really do.
You're like, I'm the one who had to find the problem? No one else had an issue before this? They couldn't have reported him to the therapy board?
Why couldn't anybody else have gone to a reporter?
Yeah. Yeah.
I suppose this is how everyone feels when they break a scandal. Or they're a journalist, and it's like, oh, I did my job good.
Yeah, like, what's his name?
Watergate.
Oh, no. The Frank Sinatra's son. Ronan Farrow.
Ronan Farrow.
Yes.
Did you
Let's
listen to his, audiobook?
No, absolutely not.
No, neither should, okay,
I'll tell you one thing I haven't listened to this year is Ronan Farrow's audiobook.
But he recorded it himself, and he tried to do accents in it.
Why are we taking this guy? Why is this man so credible after that?
Because he's probably Frank Sinatra's son.
Yeah, I think everyone's.
Yeah. Oh, you said it first, so I'm not.
He is. What? Come on, he is. Even if he says no, he can look me in the eye and say, "Here's the DNA test," and I'll say, "You're full of shit."
He's full of shit.
And also, I don't think he minds being Frank Sinatra's son.
I know he leans into it.
I mean, also, he would also be the Sinatra kid that ended up the best. Frank Sinatra Jr. is a mess.
I like that you say that
I know.
You're like, oh, I saw him at the dive bar we go to, and he was just wasted.
He was all over the place. He was eating appetizers. And what are you putting, milk and sugar?
Yeah, I don't love my
Look
body.
at it, you're not even measuring it. Again,
I'm not a body
Rachel
guy.
lives non-scientifically.
I'm not a body guy.
Yeah, but aren't you just a curious person of I want to get the good cup. You know what I mean? I want this to taste good. Let me pay attention to how much sugar I'm putting into it. This is a real crapshoot. Three what? Yeah. Because they weren't even spoon-sized. Some of them were lumpy and oblong. No, the way you were scooping, it was all over the place. I'm going to have it black because God knows what yours tastes like. This fun-filled candy land of coffee. It's not that bad. Do we have enough rapport that I can taste this? Even though you have a ground floating in it now?
I don't care about anything.
Oh my God. Oh my God. That's like a coffee you would make for a child you went out to breakfast with who also wanted coffee. And you're like, you shouldn't really be having it. Let's just put a lot of milk and sugar. And they won't get any caffeine. Dear Lord. Well, I want to say thank you and...
I've been thoroughly owned this entire time.
Have you seen any of my work?
I know, but it's still, you can prepare for it. It's like when you're working a match. Wrestling is worked.
What? It's not worked. It's fake. The whole thing is fake. Fake is the word. Fake is totally fine.
I'm trying to appeal to the marks.
Who? Don't get so inside. I have very cultured people who watch this program. My old university professor watches it.
Your therapist.
My therapist will have to watch this.
Wouldn't you?
Well, now.
I just gave him the link to this.
You know how badly I want to send my therapist my Twitter and just be like, this is it. Tell me what's up. Because,
do you have a locked alt? Let her follow your locked alt.
No, she needs to know the real.
But the
real
public
name.
you and then like private
No,
you.
now I'll tell you the secret about me is that everyone thinks it's an act.
You're just as big of a ham.
I just come out and like I get on the mic and I air grievances, legitimate grievances I have, and everyone goes, "Oh, that wacky guy." Meanwhile, I'm just dying inside.
I used to do that all the time. I was like queen of overshares.
Yeah.
But then it was like, you find a Reddit thread.
You do.
About your life. And it's... Well, okay, the last one I found is completely inaccurate. But you find some about your life and you're just like, oh no, these people have a better insight into how I'm finding out my life than I am. This is a couple years ago. But... And then you're like, oh, maybe I should share less online. A couple years ago, this was the big turning point.
Yes.
A couple years ago, I got broken up with.
You got broken up with.
I mostly get dumped.
That's not a term people use, though. I got broken up with.
I got dumped on the phone.
Okay. Ooh. Join the club. It's not fun.
Somebody texted me and they were like, if you search your name on Twitter, the autofill is dumped. And I was like, I'm sharing too much of myself online.
Oh. Do you know what my autofill is? David Arquette.
That's real.
Yeah, it's real, and also I'd rather just be dumped or feet or something like that. You know what I mean?
Do you show toes on here? Well, you have socks on.
Do you want to? Are you trying to broaden your audience? Are you looking for a fella? I have socks on because it gets cold.
They're gray. They're not dirty.
Well, they're gray and they're dirty.
No, they're clean.
I've seen the floors, dear.
I just washed them.
Look,
they're well soft.
the floor. My point is the floor is dirty. You walk on the floor. Now my socks are dirty too. It's a Brooklyn. It's a hip thing. We're in Bed-Stuy, dear. It's okay to have dirty floors.
We take our shoes off.
Yeah,
Here.
but the
this
floor.
is a nice apartment.
It is a lovely apartment.
Yeah,
I
lucky
was
get to live here.
Yeah, not anticipating such a nice apartment.
Yeah, no, I broadcast a shithole vibe.
Yeah.
Which is correct.
Yeah. But I'll tell you, you're quite a handsome woman.
Oh, God.
Yeah. You know?
Even if I do drink a child's coffee.
Yeah, you really gotta fix that. Well, I want to say thank you. It's wonderful, Rachel. You don't need to plug anything. They'll type in your name. It's
Patreon.com/Wrestlesplania.
Oh yeah, and then people can donate, or they
people
can just
sign up and get our bonus episodes. We do a lot of interviews. We cover a lot of ground. I don't know when's this coming out.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow? All right. Our Hangman interview will not be up by tomorrow. But you can listen to one with Jake Atlas and Tony Deppen and Wheeler Yuta. And who else? So many.
Yeah.
The deceased Stokely Hathaway, who looks a lot like Malcolm Bivens, but is not about Malcolm Bivens.
Nobody watches wrestling.
Oh, that's true.
Do you interview anyone else? Paula Poundstone, Vic Damone, Maury Amsterdam, any of those people?
Pearson.
DC Pearson, what does he do? Is he a ventriloquist or something?
No, he's a comedy writer and he's lovely.
Oh, that's sweet.
And he, where would you know him from? You would know him from working with Donald Glover.
Then I wouldn't know him at all. Call me when you get that B fucking Renee Zellweger on the show. So at the end,
we'll eventually have Paul F. Tompkins on. Paul is wonderful.
He's delightful.
Shout out to Paul.
We'll
Hi,
eventually have him on. So
yeah, we've been talking about it for a while. He's just trying to figure out ways to be free.
Okay, so what I'm hearing from people like Paul F. Tompkins, lay low. It'll come out later, right? All right, now we spin. Which way are you spinning?
I'm trying to mirror you. So which way are you gonna go?
Oh,
you going in or you going
well, I felt like I was gonna go this way.
Okay.
Is that a good spin for you?
Yeah,
Oh, like that? You're gonna mirror it and look me in the face? Okay.
Yeah.
Oh wow. All right. Goodbye. And God bless.
Guests of the RJ City Show, subscribe to his channel, follow him on social media, and buy his t-shirts at prowrestlingtees.com/RJ City.